What's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing out there?
Yeah, welcome to the Our Voice podcast. I'm Neil Volz.
And I am Desmond Meade.
Man, I'm excited, Des. Man, tonight's going to be big.
Yeah, it is, man. I see you got your Army hat on. You know, I think you about to do a little sparring tonight or something, huh?
Man, it's going to be a good conversation.
Yeah, man. But listen, welcome everybody back to Our Voice podcast. This is a podcast that is exclusively made for people who have been justice impacted, for returning citizens. This is a podcast where we can elevate our voice, where no one else has to speak for us.
Nah, man, I love that. I love the text messages and the phone calls, people who are making this a regular thing and just kind of hanging out, man. We're with you guys. We're looking forward to this conversation. We got a big guest. You probably saw it on social media, but we're really excited about this conversation.
Neil, you just want to jump right into it.
Nah, man, you know me, Des. Man, come on, man. It's NFL. I'm giving it away a little bit.
Man, I think you just you a little jealous, man. You know, because I guess one thing that we could say for certain is that I guess did not graduate from The Ohio State University. I can tell you that much.
Well, you're starting early, man.
Oh,
you're starting early.
Definitely.
We got Seminole on. Okay,
that's why we got a great guest, man. Straight out of FLA, you know, out the muck, I think.
No, that's right, man. I've seen the stadium in Pahokee.
That's right. So listen, if y'all haven't gotten the clue by now, or if you didn't see the advertisement, listen, tonight we are going to be joined by an amazing brother, an Anquan Boldin.
Whoa. The Anquan Boldin?
The Anquan Boldin.
I think just a couple weeks ago he got named the final 10 possible Hall of Fame for the NFL list. I think that's right?
He made the list, man. That's no small feat.
No, that's a big deal.
You know what I'm saying? I was looking at some football over the weekend, and I was looking at some high school football, and it was talking about how out of all the thousands upon thousands of high school football players, only an extreme small percentage of them actually make it to college, right? And then out of the thousands of college players, only an extreme small percentage of them make it to the pros, right? And then out of all the players in the pros, only an extreme small percentage make it to the NFL Hall of Fame. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so this is like an elite on top of an elite, on top of an elite, on top of an elite group of people. And I guess made that list, man.
Wow, man. And you think about all those people, man, playing high school football right now, thinking, oh, man, I'm going to make it to college, and I'm going to make it to the pros, and only a small group make it.
But let me tell you, what makes it even more special, I mean, because a person could get accolades in their own profession, right? But when they use, their work to actually do something good in the community, that's make it even more better, right? You talking about like a Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali,
That's right.
Just people who are taking, or what's my man name? Oscar, not Oscar. He's the actor. I want to say Robinson. And then there was another, Harry Belafonte.
Oh, that's right. You see it in like music too, man.
Yeah.
John Legend.
Yeah.
I think about Bono from U2. Yeah. Somebody's like, man, I got a platform here. I got to use it for something.
So that's another elite, right? So when you made it to the top of your profession, and then you were like an elite in like activism and all that. Anyway, listen, it's no need for us to be going back and forth talking about this gentleman. Neil, matter of fact, I think I ought to give you the honors of really introducing our guest and bringing him on the show, man.
Oh, man, thank you, Desmond. I am incredibly excited to introduce somebody who was Florida Player of the Year, somebody who won a national championship at FSU, somebody who won the Super Bowl with the Ravens, and somebody who's doing incredible things.
And I know he burnt a whole lot of defensive backs that came up out of Ohio State University.
I
can tell you that.
Man, but Malcolm Jackson's going to help us out. He's from the Buckeyes, right? So without further ado, man, I would love to introduce our guest tonight, Anquan Boldin. Welcome to the show, Anquan.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yo, what's up, Anquan? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Man, listen, I love the background you got, man, with them jerseys, man. I think, FRC, we're going to have to do that with all of the different T-shirts we done produced over the years.
Yeah, put them up around here. That's
Well, that's definitely a testament to your journey, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got a pretty good group.
I think the last time we saw you was just a couple months ago. We were in the muck. We were helping people with vaccines and food and getting people registered to vote. We had the bus, man. It's always good to hang out with you, and it's really good to see you today. What's going on?
Not much, man. I just got to say, man, I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing, man. Like, I know, you guys probably don't get the credit that you deserve, but the work that you are doing, man, is tremendous, and it's much needed in the communities that we're in. So I just want to tell you guys, man, keep up the work that you're doing.
Well, Anquan, thank you so much, man. But listen, it's about you tonight, man. Listen, could you just talk a little bit about how you got started, in your career, man? I know you want to shout out your school because you're a big supporter of your school, but just talk about them days in the muck, man, when you was a shorty growing up.
Yeah, man, I that's home. That always will be home. I'm from Pahokee, Florida, AKA the Muck City. I love that place, man. It's the reason that I am the person that I am today. Growing up in the muck, a lot of people say it was hard. There's not a lot of opportunity there. But it was more like a family growing up. Everybody knows everybody. It's a small town, agricultural town. It's a place where people work hard, man, and people take care of one another. So for me, growing up in the muck was a blessing. We had nothing handed to us. Everything that we got, we had to earn it. And that was a way of life for us. And it's still that way. That's always been ingrained in us to have a great work ethic. Nothing in life is free. Like I said, if you want anything in this life, you got to go out and you have to earn it. And, that's something that has always stuck with me and will continue to.
Yeah, I remember reading something a while back. I think it was around Edward James about he used to chase like rabbits or something like that. Did you do anything like that back in the days?
Yeah, everybody did, man. It was a way of life, man. It was fun for us. If you're not from the muck, a lot of people look at it as, man, that's crazy, or that's country or something like that. But man, it was definitely fun. Going out, because a lot of people don't know. 80% of the sugarcane that is produced in this country comes from the muck. So we produce a lot of sugarcane as well as a lot of other crops. But when they burned the sugarcane, the rabbits would run out of the fires or whatever, and then we would chase the rabbits. So it was all in fun.
You ever caught one?
Yeah, man, you catch a bunch of rabbits, man.
Really?
I mean, it's an art, it's a technique to it. I wouldn't advise you to do it at your age right now. You can hurt.
I know that's right.
You can hurt a lot of stuff.
But listen, my wife Sheena wouldn't appreciate me trying to go out there trying to catch a rabbit either. So I feel you on that. But
let me ask you, Anquan. I'm sitting there thinking about you, at that age in the community, hanging at the muck. Was there like a moment where you just kind of knew, right? All of a sudden you're on the football field, and that was your place. That was all of a sudden kind of the spot that you were kind of like, man, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, man, I've always felt that way. I grew up playing against my older brother. My brother's 3 years older than me, so I used to play a lot with him and his friends. So when I played with guys my age, it was easy. Not trying to brag or anything like that, but anytime you play against higher level competition and then you come back down, it's a lot easier. So for me growing up, playing with my brother and his friends, and for me, we never had Pop Warner football when I was growing up. We only played sandlot football in the muck at that point. So my first time ever putting on shoulder pads or anything, or helmet, was actually my 8th grade year when I went out for JV football. So that was the first time I put on any kind of football gear, and it was so bad that I didn't even know the difference between thigh pads and knee pads. So I know a lot of guys come up and, they play PAL or Pop One or whatever, but, for us, it was just straight sandlot football until I got to high school.
Wow. Well, later on in the show, Anquan, I know we're gonna want to talk to you about the influence that your brother had in the work that you're doing right now. But I think recently we legend passed. Your coach, Bobby Bowden, and I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times. As a matter of fact, the last time I met him, it was when I was in law school, and he came to speak at the law school, and I was asking him about rights restoration. This was like before we even launched the ballot initiative, and I knew he was a man of faith. And I asked him if he believed in second chances, and I told him what I was trying to do, and he was very encouraging. And so I'm wondering, now, he's passed, but I know he's had a lot of influence in a lot of people's lives. I'm wondering, is there anything about your time with Coach Bowden that really influences the person who you are today, right now?
Yeah, man, I just think, Coach Bowden was just a great guy all around. Definitely loved his players. Definitely put them first. And, one thing he used to always do, especially before games, every Friday night, we used to have to go to the hotels and get away from everything before the games on Saturday. And he used to always read scriptures from the Bible. And a lot of the scriptures was talking just about that, second chances. And you mentioned that he was a man of faith, but, when you look at the Christian faith, that's exactly what it is. Second chances, because we're all sinners. We've all fallen short of the grace of God, and it's only by his grace that he gives us another chance to get things right with him. So that definitely sticks out to me.
Well, yeah, and I think about like relationships and heard such great things about Coach Bowden. I know that you played quarterback in high school, right? And then went to FSU and ended up being a receiver. But how those kind of conversations go with Coach Bowden? I can't imagine those are the easiest conversations, right? You got to put it out on the field. How did he handle that? How did you handle that at an early age, kind of walking through those kind of decisions? That's a big change.
Yeah, for me, like you said, I had played quarterback my entire high school career. I was a 4-year starter at quarterback. So, I got recruited my senior year as a quarterback to play at different colleges, and initially signed to Florida State as a quarterback. And, the first week of camp, at that point, Chris Winkie was our starter. He was a junior my freshman year. Actually, a 26-year-old junior in college.
He was older.
Right, yeah, he was a little older. So Chris Winkie was the starter. We had Marcus Outson, who was a junior as well, who was second team, and then they had me as the third string quarterback. And for me, I had started all 4 years of high school, so I didn't know what it felt like to not be involved in practice. So, I felt myself watching practice more than I was participating in. As a third string quarterback, you're not getting that many reps. You probably get, if 10 reps the entire practice. So, I wasn't used to that feel. So one day after practice, I went up to Coach Bowden's office, and I'm like, "Hey, Coach, man, I know you recruited me as a quarterback, but man, I feel myself, not being involved in the practice, and I'm not used to this." So I was like, "Man, I think I want to switch positions." So he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Have you talked to your parents about this?" And I was like, "Nah, not really." He was like, "I think you may want to talk to your parents first." But he was like, "If you're serious about it, I'm willing to let you change positions." And then he asked me, he was like, "Okay, if you change positions, what position would you want to switch to?" So I was like, "Man, I played safety in high school, so I don't mind going to free safety. I play free safety." So he was like, nah, we can't do that. He was like, you too good with the ball in your hand. So if you're gonna switch positions, you have to stay on the offensive side of the ball. So you can either go to receiver or running back. So I was like, man, I'll go to receiver, and the rest is history.
Wow,
that's wild.
Next thing you know, getting one step away from the Hall of Fame.
No, that's right. That's amazing, man. That one decision, right,
that's
can kind of change the trajectory.
It's the same thing that, we experience even in our lives, sometimes it ain't the right decision, right? And it lands us in places where we shouldn't be, right? But, it is amazing how decisions can really just shape, your future. Wow. And so, Anquan, I got to ask you this, and then we can move on to other things. Listen, the Florida State Seminoles have had a lot of great players come through there, right? In your opinion,
you're going
right?
there, aren't you? Ooh.
Who was the most impactful player that you've ever played with, right, when you was at Florida State?
Impactful player that I played with?
Other than yourself now.
I would have to say Peter Ward.
I knew he was going to say Peter Ward. Wow.
I thought so,
in
too.
my time, Pete was really impactful. He's probably one of the best college wide receivers to ever touch the gridiron. He was an amazing player, and I would say if he doesn't get suspended his senior year, I think he wins the Heisman Trophy.
Wow. And then I know the only mistake I think he made was going to Ohio to play professional ball. That was, I think, if he would have went anywhere else, he would probably be knocking on the Hall of Fame doors by now, too, as well.
Anquan,
right?
Dez is just still mad at that fantastic call that was in the 2002 national championship between Ohio State and Miami, and he just won't let it go,
man. I'm not letting it go, man.
Just won't let it go.
I believe in second chances, but with this one exception. I cannot forgive him for that. So, Anquan, folks can probably tell you that we have a great relationship, man. Could you just share with our viewers, how did you first become aware of FRC? How did you first get involved with us?
Man, I think I heard of you guys through, I think it was Angela that introduced us, but initially I heard about the work that you guys were doing here in Florida. And for me, man, just hearing the story, I wanted to be a part of it, but I also wanted to see what it was that you guys were doing. And that's how, I ended up, putting out feelers and getting in contact with you guys. And that's usually me. The organizations that I usually get involved with, I like to see the work that they're doing. I mean, somebody in my position is easy to, write a check or do something like that. And not do the dirty work. But for me, man, I like to get my hands dirty. Again, I'm from Muck City. We're used to working. So, when I got in contact with you guys and was able to see exactly what it was that you were doing, man, I fell in love with the organization, man, and I've been a part of it ever since.
Yeah, and on top of that, could you talk about even the work that you're doing in the Muck right now?
Yeah, I mean, so the work that I'm doing in the Muck, man, it's extensive. Again, that's home. That's where my heart is, and everything. I mean, every opportunity that I get, I'm in the Muck. I'm doing work there, whether it's COVID testing, whether it's vaccines, whether it's voting, whether it's restoring voting rights, whether it's food drives, whatever it is, man. Like I said, there's not a lot of resources in the Glades area. So, anytime I come across resources that the Glades area needs, I'm more than willing to bring it to the area to help the people in that space.
I gotta say, Anquan, I remember we were on our bus tour right before ultimately passed. It was the Muck Bowl. And there were just thousands of people there, and man, hanging out with you was like hanging out with the mayor. Man,
he was the mayor.
Yeah,
he is the mayor.
He is the mayor, man. It was so much fun, like handing out literature, and people would look at me. I kind of stood out a little bit, and then right away I could be like, if you got any questions, just ask Anquan. You were standing right there, and man, they hug you. They, and your voice, man, it's so much authenticity and credibility to be able to talk about what kind of change could happen if people simply got in the voting booth and decided to make a decision, so.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I'm thinking about that experience, and I think the one thing that stands out the most to me during those times that we were in the Muck with you, Anquan, was actually the look in people's eyes when they saw you, right? I mean, you saw hope, man, in their eyes. You saw joy in their eyes, and we know that the Muck, it's a hard place. Like you said, it really is a hard place. And there are folks that's really going through some things there. But it seems like whenever they see you, man, they forget all about the problems, right? And I mean, probably some of them have flashbacks of when you was there playing ball in high school, and they got flashbacks of you playing in the pros and in college, and right. But I think they also they know that they got somebody there that really care about them, and haven't forgotten where you come from, And I think that's so important to just be able to inspire people.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, man. I think anytime you give people hope, man, you give them something to live for. And for me, it was never a situation where I wanted to make it and get away from the muck. Because like I said, I am the person I am today because of the muck, because of the people that lived there, because of what they poured into me. I wouldn't be who I am today without those people. So how could I finally make it and then turn my back on them? I think that would be, disingenuous on my part. So that's why every time I have the opportunity, man, I'm there. I'm a regular. I'm not a celebrity when I go back home. People can talk to me. They can touch me. I mean, I still have family there, a lot of friends, teachers that taught me, coaches that coached me. Like I said, it's home, man. So it's a great feeling to be able to go back home and feel that type of love, because everybody can't do that.
I know that's right.
Oh man, I'm telling you,
that's right.
Yeah,
man.
I got an awkward story to share, right? So, but it's this, but it is what you said. It's that power of love, and the Amendment 4 story is really, to Des's credit, was a movement of love, and it was a movement of people talking to people. I remember standing in front of that bus. You guys remember that song "Living My Best Life" by Lil Duval and Snoop Dogg? That thing is blaring, like it's beaten from our bus. And the N-word's in there, right? So I'm handing out literature, I'm all of a sudden feel a little awkward. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do in that moment. I know some white people are like, hey, if I bought the album, I can say it, but that's not me. I don't say that word, So, but people are just walking up to me, right? And I'm literally handing them literature. And you were right behind me, Anquan. I'll never forget it. And just the pivot from awkward moment Neil's having to being, and them seeing Anquan, a family member. Like, that's the way it felt like. All of a sudden, I was like, man, like love and hope just kind of broke through that little zone of awkwardness that I was having in that moment, man.
Hey, we had Neil walking through the muck, man, in the hood. And that's one thing I got to say about him, man. Listen, he could be white, he could be conservative. I mean, I done put him on a bus with a bus with black nationalists and stuff. And you know what? He always got his ace in the hole, because I don't know if you know this, Anquan, but Neil is a big Public Enemy fan, right? He know more Public Enemy songs than I do. I had to check my card, the way how he was flowing. He's a huge Public Enemy fan and stuff. But no matter what situation that I may put Neil in, man, he hang in there. He definitely hang in there. He hung in there that day in the muck. But listen, the thing that I want to go back to again was that you discovered us and you like what you saw, and I have to believe that part of it had to be that we had a little swag about us too as well, with our gear and how we had the bus outfitted, and we were just operating in a way to where just because you have a felony conviction, that don't mean you have to walk around with your head down or anything like that. So we was a little swaggish, and so we didn't cramp your style too much, because we know you got a lot of swag. But you got on this thing, and you got on the train while we were still trying to pass Amendment 4, right? And as a matter of fact, I think our story ended up being flashed on the Super Bowl during the Super Bowl commercial. Right, where we was with the bus that actually made the Super Bowl commercial, and so in some form or fashion, and then you were able to even get some of your other, I would say, co-conspirators with the Players Coalition, engage Malcolm, put on the "Let My People Vote" shirt and all that, and people like me and Neil was able to get our rights restored. Right now, you would think that that was it, right? But it wasn't. You know, like when I got my rights restored, I was, you know, what I got was my voting rights restored, right? And there were other rights that I still did not have, right? The rest of my civil rights. And so, you know, that was still another journey. But we worked hard, man. And I'm going to tell you, man, we, you know, FRC, we did our thing, and we got the governor and the cabinet to actually revise their policies, Anquan, to where now, you know, because like when I got my voting rights back, I still couldn't sit for the Florida bar because I didn't have enough civil rights. I didn't have my civil rights restored to where I could actually apply to Florida bar. And I couldn't own or even rent a house because a lot of subdivisions had like bylaws that would prevent me from owning or even renting a home. So while I could vote, right, I was still blocked from doing other things and to block from being able to fully realize, right, what living in democracy is all about. But we were able to change that, and now there's a policy that says basically if you qualify for Amendment 4, that you would be fast-tracked, your civil rights would be restored like almost automatically, right? And I know they're still working on the process, but I say all that to say that your work not only helped us restore voting rights to 1.4 million people, but what it did also was actually create now a faster track for people like me, even beyond the 1.4 million, because we got about 6 million people who are justice impacted in this state. But it now clears a pathway for us, so many people, to be able to get the rest of their civil rights back and to really pursue life, liberty, and happiness, man. And so I want to just thank you for that. Thank you for the support that you've given our organization and how you've been steadfast. You know, you wasn't a fair weather friend, and you still rocking with us even to this day.
Yeah, and I got to say, man, you just got your civil rights restored,
Yeah.
Desmond, a couple of days ago, man. So this is like 11 years in the making. Yeah. And Anquan, yeah, I just would like to echo what Desmond said, man. You could be doing so much. And the idea that you're like, man, my life has meaning because I can give back and I can, I can help people who have been impacted by the criminal justice system. Man, we are fans and just appreciate everything that you do.
And that's just why, man, I cannot wait for the second half of this conversation where we can just dive in now, Anquan, to talk about how you're showing up in this social justice, criminal justice space, right? And how you're being an ally, how you're pushing the boundaries, right? And to create freedoms, more freedoms for people like me and even Neil.
That's right. I can't wait to pick up and talk about what's going on right here, right now.
So are you ready to dive in a little bit, Anquan?
Yeah, let me I'll move this and I'm gonna plug this in and I'll be ready.
All right.